suppressing anything?
Well, I don't want to get anything out of you that you don't want out of you.
I'd like it out of me. I don't remember it.
After hours of grueling interrogation, Valentino Ianetti is reduced to self-doubt about his wife's death.
You remember. You remember it. You just blocking it.
The beleaguered suspect was no longer firmly and repeatedly denying he killed Pam.
What happened, Lord? Please tell me. Please help me.
Detectives seize on those words as an admission.
Look at how the cops reviewed that statement. They looked at that statement as confirmation that he did it.
It didn't help Ianetti's case that he was the only other person in the home at the time of Pamela's death. And he admits he moved the knife from the bedroom floor near Pamela's body to the kitchen, leaving his prints on the handle.
I think that very quickly they began treating him as the prime suspect because who else was there?
So I just have to ask this, was that a confession? Were you confessing?
To what? I wasn't confessing to anything. They had one agenda on their mind, the police. Convict me.
So you said, did I do this?
Yes.
Why were you asking if you knew that you hadn't done it?
Because after 15, 18 hours, people telling me I'm doing it, I started getting in doubt.
Somebody described to me, it was like having a Mack truck sitting on their chest. That's how much pressure these people are under. And he never really admitted to it. I must have blocked. Dear God, I can't remember. He said it right up until the end.
And that's exactly what the Sussex County District Attorney had in mind. So did the state's medical examiner, ruling the case a murder.
The medical examiner's ruling was sort of a pivotal point in this case and sort of sealed Mr. Ianetti's fate. You don't have a homicide unless you have a medical examiner saying that this person was murdered.
Now at the age of 60, Ianetti is charged with killing the woman he was married to for more than half his life and sits in jail for nearly 4 years awaiting trial. His own children turned their backs on him.
Everybody has lied to my children. Their husbands, their children, their teachers, their doctors, everybody.
Left behind bars to grieve his wife alone.
Every time I visited him, he would break down in tears because he missed her so much.
And it won't get much worse thanks to a public defender whose independent medical expert makes some intriguing discoveries about Pamela the night she died.
She actually had enough painkillers in her system to kill her. It was plausible that she had enough in her system to numb the pain of any stab wounds without causing her to, immediately lose consciousness.
According to reports, all 47 wounds were in reach of Pamela's own hands and arms, and none were defensive wounds.
The crime scene was not in disarray. There wasn't a lot of evidence, if you will, of any kind of struggle that was going on.
But next comes the strongest case for suicide.
What's most compelling, I think, in the pathologist reports are the cluster wounds.
The clusters means that they were all in the same spot. Specifically in this case, they were all oriented in the same direction. They were all penetrating in the same direction.
An indication that Pamela was alone in one general area, inflicting straight parallel wounds upon herself.
What you would expect to see is when somebody is stabbing another person and the blade is going in, is the body is moving. You see a thing called fishtailing or trailing, where the wounds are jagged and they're moving in different directions.
Pamela suffered 22 stab wounds to the left side of the neck, 17 to the right side of the neck, and 8 to the torso, plus 3 fatal wounds to the liver, left lung, and heart.
There were no handprints, fingerprints, shoe prints to indicate someone else was involved.
And according to forensic pathologist Dr. Isidore Mihalakis, the majority of the injuries are what's known as hesitation wounds.
They are not deep wounds. These are superficial wounds, poorly directed under the skin.
The defense team gave its findings to the Sussex County DA, who in turn did something quite rare for a prosecutor's office. They got a second opinion, and it came from Dr. Mihalakis.
I don't believe that a perpetrator was there or could have done it, because she would have moved and she would have a different pattern of wounds.
Dr. Mihalakis thinks the combination of pills and a knife was Pamela's insurance. If one didn't do the job, the other would.
My final conclusion is the cause of death is multiple stab wounds. The manner of death is suicide.
In a stunning reversal, the DA's office dropped the charges.
The prosecutors are simply saying there's enough information here that causes me to pause and look at this case.
Ianetti is released, but freedom is bittersweet. The state's medical examiner and the police refused to change their conclusion of murder, and the prosecutor's office left itself open to recharge Ianetti in the future. In a lengthy response defending their investigation and decision to drop charges, prosecutors say in part, quote, "Although it is open, it is not under active investigation. Barring a new and significant development, it is not anticipated the matter will be actively investigated or prosecuted."
The prosecutor is not saying, based on what I've read, that the person is innocent. They're just saying they can't prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, and there's a huge difference between those two things.
It's a world of difference for Ianetti.
So you are still known around town as a killer?
Well, as far as I know with the internet, I am overseas known as a killer too. The minute they start Googling your name, they find out that I was arrested for murder, charge. They don't want me around.
So it's difficult to get a job?
They don't want to take a chance.
Ianetti still has no contact with his children. He says all he wants is his family together again and a clean slate from the cops. He says the truth is on his side. There's just one way to tell it.
Did you murder your wife?
Oh, I did not murder my wife.
Now, we want to hear from you. How do you think Pamela Ianetti died? Join in the discussion right now on our Facebook page. I'm Chris Hansen. If you like this story, make sure you tune in every day to Crime Watch Daily. You can find where the show airs in your city at crimewatchdaily.com. Watch it live or record it on your DVR and watch it at night. And to all those criminals out there, remember, we are watching.